So the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase for July 31st is now out of the way, and I think many people are questioning what Nintendo's strategy or plan is for their upcoming games in 2025 even more than they were prior to the Direct. I'm going to be talking about why I'm questioning Nintendo's strategy even more, as we even saw a game that Nintendo's publishing themselves at this Direct with no release date. And I will have timestamps if you want to skip around this video, but for now I want to talk about some of the things that I actually did really like about this Direct, and we're going to go over that right now. And there was legitimately only 2 games that carried this Direct for me, and ironically enough, both of those games happen to be from Square Enix. The first game is The Adventures of Elliot: The Millennium Tales, and this is an action RPG that looks like a lot of fun in my opinion. I saw the art style and the fact that it was Square and got so excited as I felt it was a new turn-based game, but I have to admit I'm really excited for this game as the mechanics with Elliot and their fairy Faye look like a lot of fun, and it gives off 2D Zelda vibes for sure, and that game will be releasing in 2026. Of course, I'm excited because, like I said, the gameplay aspects and just the mechanics for The Adventure of Elliot look like a lot of fun. But the other reason I was okay with it not being a turn-based game is because of the fact that we'll be getting Octopath Traveler 0 on December 4th of this year, and I can't be more excited. This was for sure the highlight of the show for me, and I think we can maybe see more people getting into the Octopath games with this, since this is, of course, a prequel, as you can probably tell from the 0 in the title. So Square closing out the show with not just this game, but also The Adventures of Elliot did a lot of heavy lifting for me and genuinely put a smile on my face after I honestly didn't care too much about the first 20-ish minutes of the show. Now, Monster Hunter Stories 3 was announced in this Direct, and it was the game that kicked off the show. And honestly, I mean, I don't play those games. Many people have told me to get into them since I love the quote-unquote mainline Monster Hunter games. And I still have my copy of Monster Hunter Freedom 2 from way back in the day, and I without a doubt put over 100 hours into this game easily back then. But obviously, like I said, I don't play those games at the moment, so that just genuinely, that announcement did nothing for me. And I also really do like the announcement of Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2 coming to the Switch 2, and I think that's a pretty big deal, or just a decently sized announcement. But I do already own those games on multiple platforms, as the Yakuza or Like a Dragon games are some of my favorite games ever, and I would say the Yakuza or Like a Dragon series is one of my favorite game series of all time. But I've already put hundreds of hours into those 2 games, so for me that didn't move the needle at all. I'm probably not going to be picking them up on Switch 2. Maybe I will if there's a sale down the line, but like I said, I own them on multiple platforms already, so. But just getting Yakuza 1 and 2, or in this case Kiwami 1 and 2 as they're called, since they're just remakes of the first 2 games, on more platforms is always a positive. And just, it's a good thing to try and just continue to grow that audience of that series, as I do love those games, like I said, and I think everybody should at least give those games a try. Now, I would say that Direct was like a C+ for me, honestly, and that's even with me coming in with lowered expectations. But after watching it, I feel even more strongly that there's going to be a general Nintendo Direct that happens in September. I doubt that Nintendo would wait all the way until October, as we still do need release dates for Kirby Air Riders and Metroid Prime 4, and also Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which was the game that I mentioned in the intro that was included in this showcase, yet didn't even include a release date. And yeah, I think that's probably a red flag, or just kind of a question of, you know, what's going on, and I'm sure that means that, yeah, a general Direct is probably down the pipeline somewhere. No release date listed was really surprising to me though, and when I seen the trailer start up, I was like, oh, okay, we're definitely just gonna get that, you know, we're gonna get that release date, and then maybe we'll get a Kirby Air Riders Direct, or a Metroid Prime 4 Direct, you know, solo Directs like they did with Mario Kart World and DK Bonanza. But Nintendo's only ever held 2 general Directs in October ever. And yes, we've had mini Directs in October, or even Directs highlighting, say, the Mario movie, but we've never had a general Direct in October, so I think, yeah, it's even more likely we get one coming up in September. And yes, like I said, there is possibly a Direct that we could get, you know, just one highlighting specific games like Kirby or Age of Imprisonment or Metroid Prime 4. But 2025 is also the 40th anniversary of Super Mario, and I would expect that Nintendo has something planned for that, even if it isn't huge. And I wouldn't say expect a 3D Mario game, I just wouldn't, you know, especially since the Odyssey team was also just working on DK Bonanza. I think they had the team maybe separated a bit, and they were working on another 3D Mario while a part of the team was working on Bonanza. But like I said, even if it's just something small, you would think that Nintendo would have something planned for the 40th anniversary. And even outside of the Mario anniversary, those are 3 decently sized titles in terms of Kirby Air Riders, Prime 4, and Age of Imprisonment. And you would think those 3 games, the Mario anniversary, and then the third-party games would be enough time to fill up a general Direct, no? Now, Gamescom is coming up in August, and we have Tokyo Game Show in September. And of course, there will be games that are exclusively revealed there. But there's still a lot of third parties or Nintendo partners that would reveal their games at a Nintendo Direct if Nintendo holds one in September. Now, while Nintendo has never really had a strong presence at Tokyo Game Show, I think a general direct coinciding around the time of Tokyo Game Show definitely isn't a stretch to anticipate. And there's a decent number of games in this partner showcase that are coming out very soon. So it felt like Nintendo said, hey, how about we just put out this partner showcase and we'll get these games out, since, you know, a lot of these partners don't want to wait until a general direct that we might have in September, and then we can have our big event in September if that's where they obviously end up going with it. Now, Nate the Hate said they're looking into what's up with Prime 4, and yeah, I definitely understand that, because you would think that Nintendo would really want to get the marketing push going for that game ASAP. And I mean, I guess technically they kind of have, since we had that advertising we saw in places like a subway station, which I believe was in London, that went viral, but also because someone like Christopher Dring, who I believe is of course plugged in on gaming info, even said this would be a chunky direct, and well, that fell flat on its face. Unless Dring's sources told him that the next general direct would be the one that happened today, and maybe there's just been a change in the background, or maybe they were just saying the next general direct would be chunky, and Dring assumed that this week's would be a general direct instead of the partner showcase. Obviously, I'm just as much in the weeds as you guys in terms of not really being sure when we're getting that next general direct. But regardless, I do want to know what everybody thought about the partner showcase down below in the comments section, and what you all think is going to be up in terms of the next general direct and when we'll be seeing it. And if you enjoyed the video, then definitely make sure to give it a like, as it helps me out a lot. And if you're new to the channel or returning to the channel and not subscribed, then definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of my newest content. And I actually do have a pretty fun retrospective video on a JRPG that I love coming up, so definitely stay tuned for that. But regardless, thank you all so much for watching, and I am out. Peace.